Hello dear students, I am Mrs. Shubham Rajesh Patil. In chapter number 1, Solid State of Chemistry, we'll study now unit number 1.9, Electrical Properties of Solids. Students, solids show very wide range of electrical conductivity. Accordingly, solids are classified into three categories: conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Here is a picture of periodic table in which you can see blue color is used for metals. Generally metals are conductors, whereas pink color is used to indicate non-metals. Generally they are insulators. In between them, here we have some metalloid elements. Of those, some of the elements are behaving as semiconductors. So let's see one by one what are conductors, what are insulators and what are semiconductors. Conductors, solids having electrical conductivities in the range 10 raised to 4 to 10 raised to 7 per ohm per meter are called as conductors. Metals and electrolytes means ionic solids are examples of electrical conductors. Metals conduct electricity by movement of electrons. Electrolytes conduct electricity by movement of ions. Here are some pictures of commonly used metals like copper, lead, tin, nickel, steel and zinc. Insulators. Solids having low electrical conductivities in the range 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to minus 10 per ohm per meter are called as insulators. Most non-metals and molecular solids belong to this category, like bromine, then here is carbon, sulfur which is molecular solid and phosphorus. Semiconductors. Solids having electrical conductivities in the range 10 raised to minus 6 to 10 raised to 4 per ohm per meter are semiconductors. This range is intermediate between conductors and insulators. So metalloids like silicon, germanium belong to this category. Here are pictures of silicon and germanium metals. They are particularly used as semiconductors in semiconductor devices. So let's compare all of them. Here is one chart prepared for you. Conductors, semiconductors and insulators, their electrical conductivity in per ohm per meter. For conductors it is 10 raised to 4 to 10 raised to 7. For semiconductors it lies between conductors and insulators 10 raised to minus 6 to 10 raised to 4. And for insulators it is very low, 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to minus 10. And then examples of conductors will be metals and electrolytes. Semiconductors examples will be metalloids like silicon and germanium, and insulators examples will be non-metals and molecular solids. Let's study about band theory now. Electrical conductivities of solid metals, non-metals and metalloids are explained in terms of band theory. So a band is made up of closely packed electronic energy levels. So with respect to energy, here the bands are shown for insulators, conductors and semiconductors. Band formation can be correlated to formation of molecular orbitals by interaction of atomic orbitals. So in case of insulators, if we'll see, there is a large gap between valence band and conduction band. The gap is small for semiconductors, and valence conduction bands, they are overlapping each other in conductors. So according to molecular orbital theory, interaction of atomic orbitals of combining atoms results in formation of equal number of molecular orbitals which spread over the entire molecule. This theory you have studied in 11th standard. So now similar to this, interaction of energy levels of electrons in the closely spaced constituent atoms in solids results in formation of bands. So band theory considers formation of two types of bands: conduction band. If the electron is present in the conduction band, it is available for conductivity. And secondly, valence band, which is formed in the valence shell of the atom. The highest energy band containing electrons is the conduction band. So conduction band will have high energy as compared to valence band. You can see that in this clip, valence band is present over here at the bottom, and then there is band gap, energy gap, which is also called as forbidden gap, and then we have conduction band at little higher energy level. So this band is formed by interaction of outermost energy levels of closely spaced atoms in the solids. So this is about the conduction band. It may be partially occupied or it may be completely vacant. Electrons in conduction band are mobile, they are movable, delocalized, means they are not present at their locality, they are present at some different place. So they are moving continuously over the entire solid. They conduct electricity when electrical potential is applied. The band having lower energy than conduction band is the valence band. The electrons in valence band are not free to move because they are tightly bound to the respective nuclei. Now let's see what is band gap. The energy difference between valence band and conduction band is called as band gap. You can see over here, with respect to band energy, we have here valence band and here is blue colored conduction band. The gap between them is called as band gap or forbidden gap. Size of the band gap decides whether electrons from the valence band can be promoted to the vacant conduction band or not. When band gap is too large, like in case of insulators, we have large band gap, then it is not possible to promote electron from valence band to conduction band by thermal energy, and it is called as forbidden zone. When band gap is small, electrons from higher energy levels in the valence band can be promoted to conduction band by absorption of energy such as thermal energy or electromagnetic energy. So that's all about conduction band and valence band. Thank you very much for being with me. Have a nice day. Stay at home and stay safe.